Stand though.
Not the way that you laid it out, but yes. When you look at sort of the stats or you just feel the game, we really had a struggle just guarding them like me and you stuff. They really are capable, skilled, live ball players. And I thought that we were exposed in some areas, as we've kind of candidly talked about. We have a hard time at times dealing with those types of players, let alone multiple players that have that type of skill set. I felt that's where the game, to me, was exposed the most, in the area that we have to fix in this series going forward. I thought that the three-point shooting kind of only in the first half, and especially in the first 3 or 4 minutes with Harris, getting some quick threes, I thought that calmed down in the second half. And again, like the isolation stuff, and then D'Angelo, I thought was pretty tough out of a pick and roll, especially in the second half.
Coach, in terms of Tobias' shooting, does it get to a point where is he just getting really good looks and he's just missing, or do you have to kind of help him find a better spot on the floor?
I mean, I'm always putting it on me to help him. How do you help your players? And I'll stick with that. I got to find ways to help him. And he cares at times too much, and I think that you learn quickly in the NBA playoffs that the first kind of open look you got is probably going to be your best look. The game will tell you to shoot. And at times I feel like he's trying to maybe press a little too much or, go someplace else when, he can shoot more than 7 times. And is that what it ended up? Yeah. So, I will own that. I got to find ways to help Tobias.
What did you notice him doing defensively on JJ, not allowing him to put over screens, things like that?
It's just stuff that, playoff teams do. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. They just did it quite well. There's a physical side that they played with. Lots of teams sort of play on the high side of JJ and try to staple him to a baseline. I thought that they did that well, and he got into some foul trouble, and I don't think that helped sort of cultivate a rhythm. But I give them credit. They were physical on JJ.
What was the effort Joel did, and the kind of decision that went into him playing? I know you did it just before the game, but what went into the decision? How do you think he did?
I mean, I'm always just a recipient of news as opposed to any kind of level of a decision maker. When it gets to the health, I'm the head coach, I listen more than I advise, as I should. And I was advised that he could come in and play very late. Joel really wanted to play. He really, really wanted to play. I think the thing that I was most concerned about is what's going to be the outcome. We don't want to look in the rearview mirror and have regrets. It's game 1. Somebody's got to find a way to win four games, and it happens, as we all know, in many ways, shapes, and forms. I thought that Joel looked like he hadn't played for a while, yet was still, dominant. Look at his numbers and look at the free throw attempts. But it was clear that the pace of the game, the speed of the game, types of stuff, you could see that he was tired, and those are my initial thoughts without seeing the tape.
Butler got it going pretty good for you, and often in that case, the guy can lift the team around them and inspire them to join him in doing that. First, your thoughts about Butler's game and your thoughts about why that might not have happened with the team following along.
Yeah. First, I'm so with you, Bob, on Jimmy. That was the adult in the room. That was a man. And I think that especially, we've seen it from time. We see it here in Philly in the regular season, and fourth period stand out a lot, but you saw it kind of consistently spread throughout the game. The physicality of the game, the elite athleticism, the toughness. It is true. He was the adult in the room, and he was trying to pull others along. And just when you look at the starting five as an example, Ben had a down game, JJ had a down game, Tobias had a down game. If you go straight to the 3-point shooting, we were 3 for 20. Think about this now. We were 3 for 25. And then if you take a little bit of a pivot on a stat sheet, you're going to see that we were only 69% from the free throw line. And so, we missed a bunch of shots. We had 3 starters down. Our bench was outscored heavily by their bench. I think it was 59-26. I thought Boban did some good things. But trying to find participants outside of Joel, who we really wasn't sure was going to play, it didn't happen tonight for whatever reason. And I give Brooklyn credit more than I do anything. But I feel like the room that we have to get better and find a way to change some things to win, I see it. It's not like it's a mystery to us.
And that's really, they sagged into the paint. But do you feel like Ben passed up some opportunities to attack the rim? He passed up on attack opportunities, tried to pass into some tight windows.
I do agree at times he passed into some tight windows. He's trying to, play with that pace and speed and still be a point guard and, share the ball. I think the notion that you're going to take a sagging defensive player that crowds the paint and plays him where they do, and you're going to try to drive that's even more traffic. I think if you had asked the question, should he have just dribbled up and shot some top-of-the-key jump shots? Maybe. Possibly. But Ben, did have a down night by his standards, obviously. And he'll be back. Like, he's too competitive. He's too good. He will be back.
What's your thoughts? ESPN showed a video of Amir and Joel on a cell phone in the fourth quarter.
Well, my thoughts, and I learned this walking into this room, is first, it's completely unacceptable. And second, we will deal with it internally, I'm sure, very soon.
In regards to a suspension?
I can't comment. I only learned it walking down the hallway. And so, I stay with those 2 points, Keith. It is not something that we are about. And I really don't even know, I think all of us should sort of learn a little bit more than maybe, certainly I do. But on first glance, it is not something that we are and certainly don't condone. And the club will deal with it.
Is there something different that you can or might need to do with Ben, given the way they're playing them, given how much he struggled tonight, or do you think it's just a matter of him having an off night and needing to bounce back?
I think it's more that. I believe sort of like, the Miami series you go through, or the Celtic series is probably the one that's most on everybody's mind from last year. Maybe there are some things that we can do to better sort of utilize him, given the way people defend him, in the second half. And at times in the first half, we tried to get him more as a screen setter. And, but what ends up happening is you end up having to, space Joel out a little bit. And I think that we can play with Joel bully ball. At times I wish that we could get him, more involved inside. But to your point, when you have Ben as a screen setter and obviously a roller at that point, space becomes challenged.
He started out that way, drew some fouls, and then he kind of got into that three-point mode, and it seemed like it in the first, second quarter, kind of got him away from the things that seemed to be successful.
And to me, I'll point exclusively to fatigue. It's a lot easier running three-point line to three-point line than it is rim to rim. And to the question that was asked earlier, that was the thing that stood out the most to me was Joel's, and it's fair, like none of us should have thought he was going to come fly up and down the floor, is we tried to play him in 5-minute clumps, and try to maximize that. But even that 5-minute type clump, at times got the better of him from a pace standpoint.
Couple more guys.
Joel was warming up.
Sorry, D, go one more time.
Pre-game when he was warming up, Joel, he had a brace on his knee.
Yeah.
When he went to the game, he didn't, and it was the first I had ever seen him brace.
Yeah. I get it. I was told that he was going to try it, and if it felt comfortable, he would continue to use it. And then he must not have felt like it was that comfortable and decided not to play with it.
What did you like about what Boban did tonight?
I thought Boban was okay, and really, like, if I'm honest, those types of games scare me with him. When you say, well, they got a bunch of, track stars that can shoot threes, that usually doesn't fit maybe with Boban's skill set. But we dropped him back. Their bigs are more rollers than they are pick and pop guys. At times they went with Dudley, and then you have a decision to make. Do you continue to do different things schematically, or do you just sub it and go apples for apples? But in general, I thought Boban was okay. And at times I thought he was really good. And, he made some foul line type jump shots. I always want our big guys to be big and get more involved, maybe closer to the rim. But I thought in general, Boban was pretty good.
Griffin said he felt like he was over-listening, maybe sometimes overthinking it a bit when he was out on the floor. Did you feel like he was being too cerebral?
One more time, he thought he was what?
He felt like he was overthinking it a bit, maybe at times over-listening out on the floor. Did you feel like he was being too cerebral in his own head at all?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. I do know that he completely cares, and, his experience from the playoffs last year, you want to improve from that. You want to show fans like all the work that he definitely has put in, and tonight you wouldn't have seen that. And so he will be back, and maybe there is some truth to what you just said, where he's overthinking it and trying to, overanalyze stuff. That could be true, but I will tell this room, I'll be shocked if you don't see a different Ben Simmons in Game 2.
Brandon's got one more. There was a clip of Amir Johnson showing something.
We just went through that. That's okay, no problem. That's it. Thank you.